Ladies and gentlemen, I am angry. You can tell I'm angry because everything's red. Originally this was going to be a large video that was just pretty much going on the attack on some people, but I realized that they don't matter enough for all the effort I was putting into researching and like compiling. I was going to script it. It was going to be like a real long video attacking these people, but they're not worth it. Instead, I should probably get out a more shorter video, getting the point across. Some of you Transformer fans might know that BotCon has been brought back. I put brought back in quotation marks here, because it's not exactly brought back in the way that you know it. Basically, Hasbro, if you don't know what BotCon is, BotCon was Transformers' official convention that was done through Hasbro. There was, BotCon exclusives, there was fiction that helped expand the Transformers universe during BotCons that were official because it was Hasbro material. I believe it was probably the largest Transformers convention. I don't have the stats to back that up though. But ultimately Hasbro stopped doing BotCon. They tried to do HasCon, I think, but I didn't really keep up with that. But BotCon ended. And now they've announced that BotCon is coming back. Here's the thing, it's not an official Hasbro licensed convention. It's just another Transformers fan convention under the name of BotCon. So that means it isn't sponsored by Hasbro or anything. Not that that's bad or anything, that's just a lot of people, when the BotCon announcement came up, people are like, oh, maybe that means you'll get a return of the fiction, the metafiction. No, because it's not official, it's a fan convention. But anyway, an issue has popped up. In the fact that the convention might be distantly connected to one Pete Sinclair. The first thing I can answer is, what do you mean distantly connected? And so far I don't think there's an official thing linking Pete Sinclair to this convention. I believe they found that, is it a seller or something, is connected to Night something, which is a company that Sinclair owns? There's a lot of information going on out there, but basically what I've gathered from looking through all these stuff on Twitter and other resources was that there is a possibility that a company Pete Sinclair is affiliated with might be connected to the current new BotCon. Okay, so I wake up from my slumber, looking like a sleeping beauty, like I always do. The wildlife is coming to help me get out of bed, and I'm whistling a tune, and I make the mistake of looking at Twitter and realize that, for some reason, the Transformers fan base is in the middle of some sort of civil war, and I'm like, I guess it's Tuesday. A lot of people at pretty much the same time say, I am no longer affiliated with AllSpark News. I am resigning from the AllSpark website. If you don't know, the AllSpark is one of those fan sites that is pretty much part of really the TF Wiki admin sphere. I've talked about this before, but there's a certain section of the Transformers fandom that's pretty much just Transformer Wiki admins and their in-group of friends. And the AllSpark forums had a very significant portion of Transformer Wiki admin circle in there. I don't think that was proper English. But all of a sudden, all these Transformer Wiki type people are declaring their independence from AllSpark, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I find out the issue. There's many issues, but the one issue I see in common is the fact that the AllSpark website is affiliating itself with the new BotCon, and the issue is over the potential possible, maybe difficult to see, the future is the dark side clouds everything, possibility that Sinclair is somehow linked to this new BotCon. And why do they hate Pete Sinclair? Well, my friends, it turns out Pete Sinclair did a little bit of a racism. So I'm seeing this go down on the timeline, I'm seeing all this going down, and I'm like, wow, this Pete Sinclair guy has got like the entire Transformers Wiki faction of the AllSpark forums to declare independence. Walkie, the is he still the host of the wiki? Is he, like, challenging the Allspark people to a duel or whatever is going on over there? It's chaos. I'm looking at the forums, and there are admins deleting Walkie's posts. There are admins saying, don't talk about racism here. This is just to talk about BotCon, which I think is a weird argument. Because if Pete Sinclair is Adolf Hitler too, as all these people are saying he is, I think bringing up that he's a racist would be important to bring up in the conversation of BotCon if he's possibly connected to it. But the admins on the Allspark are cracking down over there. Arguments are, like, seeping out into other forums. I saw, like, people who were arguing on the Allspark forums arguing on TFW 2005 like this is some sort of world war where, like, the Soviets are invading Finland and fighting the Germans there while the Japanese and British are fighting in Burma. Everything's gone mad. But as I'm seeing this huge push, this almost boycotting of BotCon and this huge exit, you might call it a Brexit, although the Br comes from Britain and none of this has anything to do with Britain, but a sort of Brexit from the Allspark, and, like, everyone posts at the same time, so it looks like some sort of coordinated effort. I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like, oh, this Sinclair dude's racist, he's homophobic, he is transphobic, he is racist, he is, ableist, sexist, homophobic, trash. I saw Pete Sinclair at a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person, but I didn't want to be a douche and bother him and ask him for photos or anything. He said, "Oh, like you're doing now?" I was taken aback and all I could say was, "Huh?" But he kept cutting me off and going, "Huh? Huh? Huh?" and closing his hands shut in front of my face. I walked away and continued with my shopping, and I heard him chuckle as I walked off. When I came to pay for my stuff up front, I saw him trying to walk out the doors with like 15 Milky Ways in his hands without paying. The girl at the counter was very nice about it and professional and was like, "Sir, you need to pay for those first." At first, he kept pretending to be tired and not hear her, but eventually turned back around and brought them to the counter. When she took one of the bars and started scanning it multiple times, he stopped her and told her to scan them each individually to prevent any electrical interference, and then turned around and winked at me. I don't even think that's a word. After she scanned each bar and put them in a bag and started to say the price, he kept interrupting her by yawning really loudly. But then as time goes on, I realize that I don't know who Pete Sinclair is. I'm like, okay. And as people are talking about him as if he's like this vile menace, I'm like, and surely people are going to start posting screenshots, right? Right? Like, show me where he did this stuff if he's like such a lol cow. And then, like, nobody posts anything. It's just people saying he's racist, but no one's showing anything in the discussion. So I'm like, okay. And every now and then I see one person say, can I get some images or like some screenshots and stuff? And then nobody ever responds. No one really gives anything. Finally, one person points out an incident where Pete Sinclair apparently was a head dude with some of the previous BotCons that were under official Hasbro supervision. Pete Sinclair, I believe, allegedly, while running the official BotCon Twitter, liked some racist tweets. Well, the claim was that he made and retweeted racist tweets. The only evidence I can find is that supposedly him on the BotCon Twitter liked a tweet that I will show you because I'm not going to hide evidence from you like I will later bring up that I think people are doing here in this situation. In fact, I'll show you it right now. Here's the tweet. I'll let you decide if it's racist or not, but I'll have something to say about this tweet later on, assuming I can remember and I don't have the attention span of a goldfish. But I think it was inappropriate for the official BotCon Twitter account to like that tweet. I don't know why. There's a lot of questions I have there. And then according to secondary sources, I don't have any primary sources, but according to secondary sources, people said that like he later made the excuse that a child got a hand of his phone and then liked it by accident. Like there were several excuses layered on top of one another. But I don't have any primary sources on that. But that was really the only thing there, and I'm not really sure if that made him Adolf Hitler too. But then one person brought up that like That's just a sort of vile, vapid racism he posts on his Facebook every day. So I quickly jot down on my quest to find sources claiming that he's racist. And I'm like, okay, the Facebook. He has a Facebook page where he's vile and racist, and it's just ridiculous. It's off the walls. I'm probably going to click there. I'm going to see excerpts from Mein Kampf. I'm going to see excerpts from Siege. I'm going to see, the Turner Diaries will just be his entire description in Facebook. And so eventually, I find his Facebook. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what's happening with the most vile anti-Semite to ever grace the face of the Transformers fandom. Ah, Jesus, that's bright. See, I'm looking over there, and the room's dark over there, but then I turn around, and those monitors are much brighter than you think they are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the actual Facebook post of Pete Sinclair. He works at Night Shining, and that's where, that's the company he works for that people don't want to see affiliated with BotCon. I have to be very careful to not show my own Facebook account. First post of the vile racism, a picture of his dog with a new toy sent to him by Jesse Witternick, or Wittenrich. I never said his name out loud, I've always read it. I never realized that the N and R were... that was the placement. Anyway, no Halls and Oates on your playlist? I can't go for that. No can do. Officers in York are trying to locate the owner of a distinctive silver ring and are appealing to the public for help, and it's the Lord of the Rings ring. Well, maybe if we keep scrolling we'll find something. Weird amount of excitement for Walmart bringing together Star Trek, Star Wars, and Bill and Ted. Apparently there is a woman who misread Lakers as knackers, and which sounds like the N-word. And then Sinclair points out, and this woman will have her reputation ruined because she flubbed a word. People on social media are just the worst. Okay, okay. When your boss comes charging into your office on Thursday, and it's a dog punching a man. Can we all just admit that if Obama had done exactly what Trump has done, that the Republicans would be calling him for investigations and the Democrats would be defending him? Seriously, enough with the games. Andrew Jackson was political. Bill Clinton was political. This is political. Nixon was the only true bipartisan investigation, and he wasn't even impeached, lol. Anyway, yeah, stop acting like your team is noble. They are not, at all. Grow up. I disagree with a lot of what Bernie stands for, but I can appreciate his sincerity and his honesty. CNN appears to have been biased towards Warren last night and worked to tear him down in order to support the candidate they want to see. This is just one reason why Trump was claiming fake news. Bernie Sanders supporters all see it now as well. That is evident on social media today. CNN is trash like much of the mainstream media. What a total joke. ABC News. Warren says Sanders disagreed about women being able to win presidency in private meeting. Looks like there's trouble brewing in the socialist paradise. I know what this is. Yes, I do. I know what this is. Pete Sinclair is just a boomer conservative. Is he Hitler? No. Is he racist? No. I have seen nothing to support the idea that he's racist. I think he is your textbook case of a boomer conservative on Facebook. Not anything crazy out there. Just another boomer conservative. The post I saw said he posts racist stuff on Twitter every day. And see, I'm starting to get the distinct feeling that all these Transformer Wiki admins and everyone in their camp who are slandering, is that the word to use, Sinclair as a racist, fall into the camp of people who call everything racist. And what's worse is, by the virtue of them being high authorities in a respected part of the Transformers fandom community, like the Transformers Wiki, people will just side with them without any real evidence. And that's the thing, they aren't posting any evidence. These guys are being the most avoidant, like, they are really rallying to the cause that we will not affiliate with AllSpark News and their racism, and we will not affiliate with BotCon. And then at the same time, it's like, will you show me any of it? No. Skinnerd, what's that in your kitchen? Racism. Racism. at this time of day, at this time of year, all located in your kitchen. Yes. Can I see it? No. They don't say anything. No, but they're just saying he's racist. No proof whatsoever. People are just taking what they're saying and believing it right off the bat. Then people will regurgitate it. I've seen a few Transformers YouTubers post stuff about the new BotCon. For example, Transformers Fanpage 101 posted an update to his BotCon video saying that BotCon wasn't an official con, which is correct. And then someone comments, it's also linked to Pete Sinclair, which is huge yikes. Why is that a yikes? Do you know anything about what you're talking about, or are you just regurgitating what someone on Twitter said? Because I think I know the answer. People have been saying terrible things about Sinclair, and honestly, it's pissing me off. Chris McFeely moves in. Real fun day we're having, ATF fandom? Shut up. It's like you want everyone to know that there's something wrong, but you understand that there's nothing wrong. The reason you're not saying anything is because the moment people look at what you're talking about, you realize it's not actually what you're claiming it to be. The tweet that the BotCon account liked, I think that the meme, is that the right word to use there? The meme that was liked there could be interpreted as racist. I also think it's possible for a boomer conservative to look at it and not think of it as I'm liking this post because I think black people are inferior. It's more of liking it to give themselves a sense of superiority, sort of the meme of the bootstrap stuff, like, haha, I worked by myself and I pulled myself and built myself a career while these people are lazy. I think it's more of, look at me, I'm so great, than ha ha ha, look at these black people. And I think if you talk to Pete Sinclair, he would say he doesn't think all black people are like that. I apologize for showing Pete Sinclair's personal Facebook, but that's all I had to go on. And frankly, since this video is essentially defending him, I hope he doesn't mind, but I think he's smart enough to stay out of it. And that's the thing. I wanted to make a big video about this because this is ultimately about uncomfortable political opinions. The sect of people I'm talking about right now have it in spades. You don't have to go far to find people complaining about Walkie or Chris McFeely or anyone really in that sphere. Political opinions are soaked into everything they say, very much similar to Pete Sinclair, just on the opposite end of the spectrum. And frankly, I think it's annoying on both sides of the aisle, because ultimately we're here to talk about transforming robot toys for children. Shut up. But one thing that I think there are two things that come out of this that I'm glad for, and that is, on videos talking about BotCon, or even on AllSpark posts about BotCon and stuff like that, there are still people saying, hey, I like Transformers, I like conventions. I'm looking forward to it. And then you see the other people, talking about, oh, you also stand with racists now. And then you get people commenting, literally, what? And then they bring up Pete Sinclair, and they're like, who? Because frankly, who is right? The average Transformer fan doesn't care about Pete Sinclair. The average Transformer fan doesn't care about the people running the TF Wiki. They are nameless people who wish people took them more seriously. And I think that's why all these AllSpark secessionists did this at the same time and made long threads on Twitter. Is because they wanted to... It's very much part of Twitter's cancel culture that nobody actually likes. And it just looks like this organized... I doubt it's actually organized, but I think everyone saw that everyone was making their posts about leaving the AllSpark forum, and so they made their own posts. But yeah, the first thing that reassured me was that nobody actually cares about this. The vast majority of people don't care about this, and what the anti-Sinclairers have to say won't matter in the end. The second good thing to come out of the news today is that the Hasbro Universe podcast is going to be returning, talking about the Dire Wraith stuff, so that's cool, looking forward to that. Let me address some stuff that I'm sure will pop up that I don't want to have to deal with afterwards. I'm sure there are other problems at the AllSpark forums, besides just the affiliation with Pete Sinclair. From what it looks like, I don't think the the mods' response to discussion around Sinclair seemed to be the right way to respond. Daniel Adkins made a long thread that seems to go into more details of issues with the AllSpark forums beyond just the Sinclair issue, which he doesn't even bring up, unlike others who go straight to the heart of the Sinclair issue and start accusing Sinclair of different names, really. I am open to the fact that I might have missed something that is like actually racist, and if you can point me to something that's actually racist, I'll be willing to retract some stuff I said here. But I think if something actually racist ever happened, it would pop up instead of having all these snide remarks. For example, if you hate Keemstar, you don't say, "Oh, Keemstar's racist." You say, "Oh, Keemstar said the N-word to a man named Alex at this specific date, at this specific time, because it was a notorious event worth marking down." And the just as I've seen some people say, some people have said maybe they'll reveal that Hasbro's actually behind this BotCon, and people are like, if they were really connected to Hasbro, they would lead with that and not hide that. So the reverse applies here. If there was an actual incident with Pete Sinclair, you should lead with that instead of be snide and hint about stuff. A lot of people have reported that Pete Sinclair was a jerk to them, or in their words, a douchebag. I've seen several tweets talking about, "Oh, I don't know about this racism stuff, but Pete's been a jerk to me." Well, the people who are leading this anti-Sinclair movement almost unanimously have been jerks to me at some point or another. So, if we're using hearsay and how people treat one another, then the combined toxicity of the anti-Sinclair faction will certainly outweigh that. Not that I guess it's a battle of wrong versus wrong. Share this video around anytime you see people bad-mouthing Sinclair, because I think it's horrible how people are throwing these accusations and names at this dude who seems to be nothing worse than a boomer conservative, who seems to be content having fun on Facebook, which, you know, that's happier than any of us will ever be. But yeah, that's this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out social media links in the description. Consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see this channel continue. And have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Huge thanks to our patrons, including this month's $10 plus patron, Josh Adkins. Check out the description for more patrons and more info about how you can receive a shout out here.
So I didn't have to feel this pain that's never ending. While you're up in heaven, make sure you save me room. The good will die young, so I hope I die soon.